First of all, sorry about the lighting. I'll get that situated eventually. Do you remember those old Scholastic book fair catalogs you used to get in elementary school? And there was that one page with a certain spooky book series which you really liked the cover of, but you were just too scared to read them? Well, if you guessed Goosebumps, you are correct. And if you didn't, did you even have a childhood? Anyways, as you should know, the author R.L. Stine really made his big bucks in the spooky marketing for kids. But things got real when a woman named Deborah Forte wanted to turn his spooky books into a TV show. You can keep a counter on how many times I say spooky in this video. Goosebumps, the TV show, first aired on October 27th, 1995. But we're not going to be looking at that first episode. The episode we're going to be looking at today is the 13th episode of the first season, called Say Cheese and Die. To be honest, I picked this episode because the synopsis was the most interesting, and I was really fascinated by that book cover of it when I was a kid. And the synopsis is: Greg is having fun taking pictures with a cool camera he found in the spooky old house until he realizes that the pictures are not what he shot. Alright, so we open to 3 kids, Greg, Bird, and Sherry. And yes, this kid's name is Bird. Don't know what parent would name their kid Bird, but anyway, they are spying on an old abandoned building that they want to check out before the city tears it down. And this old creepy guy they call Spidey lives there. While they're in there, Greg finds a particular object.
It looks like a toaster.
Hey, Bird!
Yeah, what?
I think this thing's a camera.
Okay, I don't know how the heck he knew that was a camera, and we're just gonna pretend it hasn't been a week since I recorded the last bit. So Bird gets his picture taken, but it's what happens after that's the weirdest part.
Are you okay?
I think so.
You guys, let's just get out of here, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
But before they can leave, they run into old Spidey, and he somehow falls sideways on the staircase and just lets out the nastiest scream I have ever heard. When they get outside, Greg takes a look at the picture he took of Bird.
What? It's a great action shot.
Yeah, but I took the picture before you filmed.
No, well, maybe you only thought you did.
I know I did.
Come on, let's go.
I could have sworn.
What do you think of Dad's new ride?
I think it's excellent.
What's that?
Oh, it's just the camera. Something Sherry gave me.
Take my picture.
People must have been really vain in the 90s, because everybody wants their picture taken by Greg.
Come on. Let's see it. Come on, let me see it.
Oh, it's a new process. It doesn't develop right away.
So when Greg takes his brother's picture in front of their dad's new car, it looks completely wrecked. From this, Greg gets pretty concerned, and rightly so. His brother's wearing socks and slides. Who does that? Greg is just super paranoid, so when his dad suggests they go out for a car ride, he's like,
I think you should take it back. Just because think how bad you would feel if you got a scratch on it. And besides, it's too shiny. It hurts my eyes.
But they go anyway, and they almost get hit by a truck. That night, Greg has a nightmare about his family turning into skeletons after he takes a photo of them. And look, it's a cover of the book. Wow! And that's the exact moment when Greg knows he has to take the camera back to the mansion. So then Greg and Bird are walking along a sidewalk, and they run into these 2 bully guys, which I don't remember the name of. Let's call them Tom and Jerry. They run into Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry want the camera for themselves, and Greg's warning them like, no, sirree, you can't do that. That stuff can kill you. Eventually, Greg and I keep saying Greg and Bread. You know what? Let's just call him Bread from now on. Greg and Bread run away from the boys, and as fate would have it, they jump into Sherry's backyard. And then Sherry, not startled by this at all, wants Greg to take her picture, just out of the blue. Oh hey, since you're here, why don't you take my picture?
Oh, Sherry, I don't think that's a good idea.
Come on. How's this?
No, you gotta listen, Cherry. There's something really freaky about this thing.
Will you just take the picture?
Dang, Sherry, chill out. It's just a picture. Greg takes the picture, but Sherry is nowhere to be seen.
Greg, you totally missed me.
No, I didn't. I aimed it right at you. See, there's a tree you're leaning against.
Then what am I, invisible?
Or a vampire.
Come on, Greg. Let's try again.
Sherry.
Greg.
Greg. It's Dad.
I'm just not gonna question how Greg's brother knew Greg was there, or how he got into Sherry's house.
There's been an accident.
What do you mean, an accident?
The car, man. It's totaled.
So Greg's suspicions were correct. This thing does predict the future. So what about the photo of Sherry? I wonder if something's gonna happen with that.
Greg Banks?
Yeah.
Do you know Sherry Walker?
Sherry? Yeah, she's one of my best
When was
friends.
the last time you saw her?
Earlier today at her house.
Do you know where she is now?
At her house, I guess.
No, she's not. She's missing. Disappeared.
I knew it.
The next day, Greg is determined to go back to that mansion and take the camera back. And Bird, don't you mean bread? Just bails out because he gotta do stuff with his dad. Like, what's that about? But anyway, when Greg gets there, since he tore up the photo of Sherry earlier, well, the photo of not Sherry, Sherry just appears with the scariest smile I've ever seen. When I first saw this episode, I thought she was possessed or something. On their way to return the camera, Greg and Sherry run into Spidey. Spidey doesn't want the kids to leave, not because they know too little, but because they knew too much. Does that make me crazy? So Spidey takes the camera, takes a picture of Greg and Sherry, and Greg and Sherry are trapped inside the camera to live their days in limbo. And that's the end of the episode. Of course, I'm kidding. R.L. Stine wouldn't do that. I mean, he probably would. That sounds like something he'd do. But it doesn't happen in this episode. Sherry grabs the camera and flashes a quick photo of Spidey and transports him into the camera itself. And that's the end of it for old Spidey. But actually, it's not. Because the two guys from earlier, Tom and Jerry, they come back into the old mansion and they take out the camera and flash a little photo, and that somehow summons Spidey again.
Okay, let's see.
Welp, that was Goosebumps Season 1, Episode 13. Say cheese or die. And that's gonna do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please like the video. And you can subscribe if you want to. Yeah, you can't choose to like the video. You have to do that. Check out my merch and my podcast. And goodbye.